I've learned that no matter what you're trying to build, whether it's a business, a brand, whatever it is, there's always a stretch of time where it feels like nothing is working. You're showing up every day, doing the work, and it still feels like nothing's moving. And that's what nobody really tells you. You can't skip that part. You can't skip out on the struggle. You can't skip the seasons where it's slow and quiet and sometimes lonely. Everybody loves the highlight reel, but nobody wants to live through the footage that comes before it. When you first start something new, it's exciting. Ideas are flowing, you feel motivated, you tell all your friends and your family, and it feels good. That high, it always fades. That momentum dies down, and suddenly you're left with just you and the actions that it's going to take in order for you to get to where you want to go. This is where the majority of people start overthinking. They start comparing themselves to others, questioning if you're even built for this. This is what we call the valley of despair. It's that part where you're in the middle between where you started and where you want to be. And this is the part that almost everyone tries to skip. There's a chart I always like to reference because it's so real, and it's called the emotional cycle of change. I'm gonna run you guys through this chart because I think it's super important to understand, and it applies to any positive change that you're going to be making in your life, whether that's building a business or losing weight, whatever it is, it applies. Let's just run through it. Stage one is uninformed optimism. This is when you start the business, you go to the gym for the first time, and it feels all like sunshine and rainbows. You feel like, oh my God, you start telling all your friends, you tell your family, you get all of this gratification because you're starting something, you're doing something new. And you don't think about any of the negative times or the hard parts about achieving what the end goal is. You just think it's just an exciting time. Like you're not fully aware of what all it's actually going to take. And then we have stage two, which stage two is informed pessimism. And disregard my handwriting, I know it's terrible. Hopefully you guys can even read this, but stage two is informed pessimism. And this is when you begin to realize that it's not as easy as you thought. Whatever you're trying to achieve, it's not as easy as you thought. And there's going to be a lot more work that goes into it than you initially thought there was. So in this stage, you're starting to realize how hard it actually is to potentially achieve the goals that you're striving for. And we have stage three, and stage three is the most important of them all because this is when most people quit. This is the valley of despair. This is when you're like, holy shit, this is fucking hard. I don't know if I can do this. And this is when most people either quit or they just go right back to stage one. They get shiny object syndrome, or they start comparing themselves to others online. They see all these gurus making money. They're like, oh, fuck, maybe I should go try and do his business model. That shit looks way easier than what I'm doing. Let me go do that and it'll be easy. So, and then they go right back to stage one, uninformed optimism, and they just stay looped in this cycle forever because they're not willing to do what it takes to get through the valley of despair and get to stage four. But if you are able to get through the valley of despair, that is when you win. Any change that you're making, any business that you're building, it's not going to be all sunshine and rainbows. You have to get through the valley of despair and get to the other side to reach stage four and stage five. So stage four is when you start to realize that you can do it. You have what it takes. You have the knowledge. You know the actions. You're built the habits of taking action on the right things, and you know what it takes to eventually then reach stage five, which is success and fulfillment. And yeah, I hope you guys can even read this, but probably not. But you get the gist of it. It's important to understand. You don't want to keep going in this loop. You want to focus on the one change that you're setting out to make and get through the valley of despair to reach success and fulfillment. So now that you understand the chart, you need to understand that the valley of despair, that is where your discipline gets built. That's where your identity is formed. Because when things are going well, it's obviously easy to feel confident, to feel good. But the real winners are the ones who, even when things aren't going well, when you're taking constant action on things that you aren't receiving gratification on, when you can get comfortable with that delayed gratification and know that if you just show up every day and do the work and take action, that eventually it'll pay off, that is the ones who actually win. That is where the major growth happens. The mindset you're building, the patience you're developing, the habits that are compounding. It all compounds underneath the surface and builds momentum. I like to think about it like this. Everything in life has seasons. There's a spring where everything feels new and exciting. There's summer where you're putting in the work and staying consistent. There's fall, and you start finally seeing results in the fall. And then there's winter, and winter is the quiet part. Winter is the valley of despair, the part that you're trying to skip. You want the spring results, but without having to go through the winter. But if you skip the winter, then your roots never get strong enough to handle the growth. So when things start to feel like everything's falling apart or everything's slowing down, it's not the end of it. It's just winter. And it's a stage, it's a season of your business, of your life, whatever change you're trying to make, that you have to get through in order to reach the end goal. Everyone's trying to find the shortcut. Everybody's trying to find
something or someone that's going to come and save them. But the truth is, the struggle is the shortcut, because that is where you develop the habits, the mindset that will actually help you sustain the growth and develop the skills to actually be successful. You can hand someone $1 million opportunity, but if they haven't been through the seasons, then they'll lose it because they've never learned how to handle the uncertainty that comes along with it. So if you're in that season right now, the valley of despair or winter, whatever you want to call it, where it feels like nothing's clicking, nothing's moving, that's not failure. This is the part that builds you. This is the part that you can't skip. You can only go through it, because one day you're going to look back and you're going to realize that version of you who was struggling to figure it all out, that's the version of you that made all of this possible. I know this video is a bit outside the realm of the normal typical videos that I make, but I have really been feeling called to try and help inspire and motivate any guys that are, or girls that are on the journey of building a business, whether it's online business or any business, and just share the things that I've learned along the way that have kept me going. And not to say that I'm anywhere near where I want to be, and I definitely don't have it all figured out, but hopefully I can inspire you to keep taking action and know that everybody goes through the valley of despair, and that if you just take action, keep going, get comfortable with delayed gratification, then you will make it. And if you want more videos like this, then just subscribe, leave a like, and I'll see you in the next one.